Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about project management. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, Frederick, I have a bachelor's degree in computer science and I want to eventually become a software project manager. Should I gain some technical experience as a front-end engineer first or apply for a junior project manager position? Well, I would suggest that you can of course try it out. I mean, if your ultimate goal is to be a project manager and not a technical, like an engineer or something like that, try to apply for a few. I mean, do both. I would say do both, because you will find that depending on what type of manager you're going to be or what type of project manager, you might find it hard to sell that you're going to bring the right sort of value to a company if you don't have you need an edge. You need a gimmick. Unless you're going if you because your background is not in project management, which means that if I'm going to hire you to do project management and you don't actually have the skills to do that, what is going to be what's your angle with that? Now, what I argue is that you can become a project manager without actually going to school and becoming one. That it's very possible because I've seen it happen several times, and I work with people who used to be like their entire background is in something else, and then they went over to project management. So it's absolutely possible. But in order for you to be valuable, you as I said, you probably want to have some type of gimmick. So by starting out as an engineer, and even if you just spend no, you don't have to spend all that long. You just need to understand the motions of your environment. You will be able to be a better project manager than if you just go directly for it. Because if you go into a junior project manager position, I mean, if you are already a good fit for the position, you're going to do fine. But I do think that you should consider that option because it's going to make you a lot more attractive. I have a friend like a coworker of mine, who actually did this exact transition. He came out of college, took his first job. I think he worked for a year, maybe two max, as a software developer before he switched over and became a technical manager, a junior technical manager. And his skills as a software developer, although they are not at a senior level, has helped him enormously in that transition because he is able to identify the skills that the company is looking for in other developers. An example would be if he wants to recruit somebody, the odds of him finding someone who's really good is a lot higher than practically 99% of all the recruiters the company works with, because they have no technical background, none of them. They have buzzwords and phrases that they use, but they don't actually know what they're saying. He does. Even if he's not a senior developer, he knows what he's looking for, which makes him a great asset to the company when it comes to looking at like personal development plans for engineers. What makes an engineer happy? Like, what do we have to think about as a company to make this a good and thriving environment for our engineers? When we're hiring somebody, what tools are we looking for? What's going to be relevant personality traits? All these sorts of things, because he's been in proximity to these sorts of people, and since he's our blood, he recognizes his own blood, and that makes him a valuable asset. And that's his gimmick. His gimmick is that I used to be a developer and now I'm a manager, and I have all those I have all the understanding of what is required from the company in order to make a successful hire of an engineer of any type, or how to set up a team so that it works really well, and like what work practices to follow and things like that. So that makes him really like that is his gimmick. I actually had a schoolmate of mine who he was middle aged, and he was trying to become a scrum master, and he found that there was no way, nobody hired him because he didn't know how to code. And it's based this thing is based on the same principle. He got his first job when he had he didn't even spend a single day, I think, as a coder. He was not a talented programmer, but that wasn't his ambition either. Like, it wasn't what he wanted. He wanted to be a manager, but the companies felt they felt uh, they felt a little bit hesitant to hire somebody who doesn't understand engineering, who didn't understand programmers, to manage programmers. So he had to prove basically that he could understand how programmers work and what it is all about. Even if it's like, I mean, his knowledge is like it's nothing. He doesn't know. He knows the bare bone basics, but it made the companies that were hiring Scrum Masters comfortable. It made them comfortable. Yeah, we can hire this person because this person now knows some coding, and therefore we feel comfortable that he can understand how it is to manage our developers. So what I want you to take away from this is that if you want to transition into project management or Scrum coaching or whatever it might be that you want, and you have a degree in computer science, you can actually have a look and see if you can make the transition immediately, because you do have a hook. But don't underestimate the power of having a little bit of experience as well, because when you want to be a project manager or any type of administrator in an IT company, it's very, unless you have something to really hold up and say, I'm really good at project management because I've been doing it, or I have experience in that exact thing, or I have an education, well, then it's very useful for you to get yourself a gimmick. And a very, very useful gimmick is that you used to be a programmer, because that means that you know how programmers think, you know what makes them happy, you know their challenges, you know the environment, you're our blood. And therefore, it's likelier that someone at higher management who's going to pull you into the company, they're going to feel comfortable because, hey, yeah, you kind of know what's going on for these people that we want to manage. So you might be a good fit if you have the social and talents and the administrative talents on top of that. That's exactly what they're looking for. And now you might be able to take a product management position or a HR representative type of position and basically just become a manager immediately. You don't have to be a senior developer. I mean, we're talking the bare bone minimum of experience will in many cases be enough for you to convince people who are looking for these sorts of roles for their company that you have what it takes to understand the environment that they're putting you in. And that's what they're after. They want you to have a good gut feeling about what needs to be done to make all of this a success. Have a great day.